Of course, you know by now that life holds no guarantees. There's no free lunch anywhere, but life provides possibilities and opportunities, and accompanied with grace, you can turn into success. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Brief on Channels Television. I am Bukola Koka, and I'm never alone. I'm with my dependable men. Good
what
morning,
exactly
guys.
wanted to come out of your mouth before, like I was on it? She wanted to say, is it lunch time?
Welcome to the love show.
You're not lunchtime
You know we're in February now. Welcome to the love show.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
somebody has been waiting for February, but we understand.
Who's that buddy?
I don't know. Welcome to the show. It's the second day in the month of February, and of course, thank God it's Friday. So, hey, we want to have as much exciting ride as possible. So thank you so much for always staying with us on the program. I'm Jeffrey Uzama.
There's so much pressure on me to come up with something. Whatever you sow, you will reap.
Do you know what's thinking?
Does that work?
It works.
Early to bed, early to rise.
Right?
Does it work in this case?
Makes a girl healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Thank you very much.
I don't know about the boys.
Welcome to the morning brief. Absolutely, we're up bright and early and cheery, I should say. I'm Kayode Okikelu.
And indeed, it's always packed for you on the morning brief. And we have so many conversations to touch, starting with security. It's always on the front burner. So the upsurge in violence across the country, seen in banditry in the northwest, mass killings in the north central, and kidnapping for ransom across the country has left the Nigerian security apparatus overwhelmed. This has heightened the yearnings for restructuring of the polity and for the decentralization of the nation's security architecture. But can Amotekun in the southwest, the community protection and volunteer guards in the north, and the other vigilante groups in the east make a difference as citizens yearn for a safer country? This and more will form part of our posers to retired officers who come with robust knowledge in crime fighting in the field in their youth.
Now, away from the security issues, it's not every day you see a female drummer beating the talking drum with such dexterity. But our guest today has for more than 3 decades defied the notion that skills that make the parties come alive, particularly the unique talking drum, are the exclusive preserve of the male folk. Let's take a peep into Ara's world and probably show you some dancing skills too. Get ready for this, it's coming.
Yeah, on a lighter note, really, because we could use some sort of cheery, exercise that will be. But that's not all we have for you on the show. From defensive displays to creative tackles, the Nigerian football team have worked hard to book their place in the quarterfinals of the 2023 African Cup of Nations. And as the nation's energetic birds go into their last 8 clash with Angola, well, the consensus of many is that it will not be an easy game. But with the news that goalkeeper Stanley Wabali is back to the training camp, they will at least fly on the wings of optimism. But what are the odds and the ends in that very crucial knockout stage encounter? We'll get some authentic answers to that from an insider straight from Abidjan.
Wow, so much to look forward to, guys. So
Exactly,
much to look forward to, including the top stories that will be shaping the conversation
Exactly.
today, and that's what will be coming up next. So stay with the morning brief. We'll be right back. And thank you for staying with your perfect day starter. Time now for the top stories. And as we start off, 3 days after the killing of 15 persons in Agatu local government in Benue State, 9 more persons have been killed in Ogboju community in the same local government in a series of coordinated attacks by suspected herdsmen. A former deputy chairman of Agatu local government, Mr. John Okulono, who spoke with our correspondent, says 9 bodies were recovered after the attack. However, the Benue State government and the police authority are yet to comment on this incident, which has persisted in the area in the last 2 weeks, and it's been in connection with suspected herdsmen. And from Agatu to Ekiti State, 13 suspects have been arrested in connection with the kidnapping of the 5 pupils of the Apostolic Faith group of schools in Murekiti and 4 staff members. This was disclosed by the Force Public Relations Officer, Mr. Muyiwa Adejobi, who was speaking on our political program, Politics Today. Mr. Adejobi also disclosed that the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoku, has made some tactical and operational deployment to the state.
By reassuring the people of Ekiti State that the kidnapped pupils of those schools and their teachers will be rescued on halt and be reconciled or united with their families. So our deployment is going to comprise PMF men from neighboring states, the squadrons in neighboring states from Ondo, that's Mopo 17, and some of them from Moshun, Mopo 39, all of them will be deployed. The directive is clear already. They are going to move immediately to Ekiti State. And Nigeria has given directives to this in charge of, that is IRT, Intelligent Response Team, DC Mohammed Sanusi, to move his men to that place tomorrow. Some of his men will join our area support too, to give them area support in Ekiti. We wouldn't want to jump to any conclusion or preempt what the investigation will say, whether they are so people or not so people. But now we have 13 suspects arrested so far in connection with that incident, and we are working with them. They're actually giving us reliable and useful information, which we are working on. I'm sure the IGP has directed the CP to have a comprehensive report in that regard. As I speak with you, they went to the bush again today. I'm sure by now, if they are back, they must have even picked some of these criminally minded elements who are causing problems in that area. The CP has been mandated to do thorough press briefing about this and to give us a report adequately. I don't want to preempt what the report from the command will say, but as I speak with you, we have 13 suspects arrested so far, and we are sure we're going to get more of these elements so that we can bring them to book.
And in the meantime, the Ekiti State Police Command has given assurance of the rescue of the abducted pupils and staff of the Apostolic Faith Group of Schools, Emure, Ekiti, as operators have been deployed to ensure their release. However, families of the abducted persons have confirmed that they have established contacts with the abductors, who have demanded a ransom of 10 million naira for each abductee.
It remains like 2 camps that we will pass to reach Ekporo. We just hear a gunshot 3 times, and our driver come down. He thinks that it's our vehicle that is giving sand. As he come down, they creep him. They come out from the bush, they creep him, they slap him. They open the door, they point gun at our car, that anybody that tries nonsense, that they will kill him. They say we should come out, they say we should lie down, nobody should look up. And anybody that look up, they will kill the person. And they take us from the express and take us to the side of the express. They started pointing the people that they want to carry. They started pointing the people they want to carry. They point one girl at Okiowo, and these 2 brothers and sisters drag him that nowhere they are taking their sister to. That anywhere they are taking their sister to, that they will follow them. That's how that happened. And when they left, all of us stand up and start running.
For a whole day, there was no contact until the second day, towards evening time, they started to make contact. They were demanding ransom. The first person to be contacted is one of the husband of one of the staff. They asked him to bring 10 million. And the man was asking because he has a little girl that was always taken along with the mother. He was asking, what about my child? He told him that the daughter is with them, and he too should raise 10 million for a person. They have even approximated it to be 100 million.
Very worrying indeed. Away from Ekiti now, it's less than 48 hours to the rerun and by-elections taking place in 26 states across the country on Saturday. The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kaide Egbetokun, has ordered restriction of all forms of vehicular movement on roads, waterways, and other forms of transportation from 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. in all 26 states. The Force Public Relations Officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, who made the development known in a statement on Thursday, explained that this is with the exception of those on essential services. And the electoral umpire has been speaking on the exclusion of the People's Democratic Party from the ballot papers for the rerun elections for Plateau North senatorial seat and Bassa Jos North Federal Constituency. Amid the tension that has trailed the exclusion, the National Commissioner supervising the state, Mr. Mohammed Haruno, clarified that the Independent National Electoral Commission took the decision in line with the appeal court order, which excluded the PDP from participating in the exercise.
PDP went to a court in Abuja And the Abuja, the Federal High Court declined jurisdiction. So what that means is that the ruling by the Court of Appeal subsists. And we have to obey the court. There is nothing, our hands are tied. It's whatever the court says, whether it is right or wrong, that is what we want, unless it is set aside.
And business now. Business activities picked up pace in January for the second consecutive month, marked by a significant acceleration in output and new orders. That's according to the latest Purchasing Managers Index report by Stanbic IBTC Bank. And the Purchasing Managers Index rose to 54.5% in January from 52.7% recorded in December. New businesses saw a sharp increase, reaching the highest level since April 2022, while fastest pace in 21 months across all sectors. And sports now. Foreign news now, rather. All 27 EU leaders have agreed a 50 billion euro package for Ukraine after Hungary stopped blocking the deal. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed this new funding, saying it would strengthen the country's economic and financial stability. Ukraine's economic ministry said it expects the first tranche in March. And as we head to the sports world, the Super Eagles coach Jose Peseiro says the team's attention is fully on the match against Angola in the quarterfinal of the Africa Cup of Nations on Friday. In an exclusive interview with Channels Television via Zoom, the coach says they will not be complacent, as every team that got to this stage have the quality and should not be underrated. And that's it on the Morning Brief. Top stories on the Morning Brief this morning. We will be back to begin unpacking what we have for you, so stay with us. Well, we'll not be taking that break, as I have joining me, Kayode. Oh, yes. I thought you had abandoned me for a moment. So
I think you want to take a breather. Absolutely.
So many things happening right now. I wonder what made an impression for you.
I think it will always be security for obvious reasons. The security situation across the board, and you begin to wonder what exactly is going on. Obviously, it looks like there is some agenda here. There's a concerted effort, targeted attacks, targeted killings, monarchs, children, you know, the vulnerable. It doesn't look good at all. And this is a very good time for us to make a statement as a nation, security forces, that we will not allow these things go on. But, you know, it's quite interesting also what is trending on social media. Aside security, there are soft issues that are making the trend. So sort of mix and match this morning. So it's not just the hard side of life. We also show you what's going on the other side, as it were. So let's begin with Asisat Oshoala. Asisat Oshoala has been trending. And no, she's not playing in the AFCON, so that's not why she's trending.
That's not why she's trending, right?
So you're wondering why Asisat Oshoala is trending. Well, so it's been announced that she's leaving a Barcelona female football club for a club in the United States. Yes, the same as Asisat Oshoala, the Agbabola, the third highest goal scorer for the team. She's won lots of laurels and cups. So when it was announced, it got a lot of people talking. Yeah, a lot of people had saying some other things, which you might get into this morning. But let's basically walk you through what people are saying about Asisat Oshoala this morning. So the news is that Asisat Oshoala has bid farewell to Barcelona Femení. That's what they're called. So essentially, it's end of a journey for her.
And that's why we saw her picture from yesterday with the pink hair making, you know, the rounds on social media. And this one is from the Africa Facts Zone. Asisat Oshoala leaves Barcelona Femení after winning 14 trophies in 5 years at the club. She's Barcelona Femení's third highest goal scorer of all time, with 117 goals in 162 games. Does it get better? You know, what a man can do, a woman can do it even better. The women always, you know, defy the odds that women can't level up in a male-dominated field. Well, there's more from Africa Facts Zone. They also say she's the first African to win the UEFA Women's Champions League and Spanish Women's Primera Division Golden Boot. She has joined US club Bay FC. I guess, you know, that's the trajectory of most footballers. You always move after some time. You know, there's always some time to reflect and decide that it's time to move on.
That's life for you. So in case you've not seen her play football, real time, as they say, real life. Maybe you are in the stands. There's someone who actually watched her play, and that's Arem Musbao on X, saying, last season, I watched Asisat Oshola at Camp Nou against Chelsea. Says I kept shouting Agbabola. Typical Nigeria. Like you have to see me. Says he kept shouting until she acknowledged and waved at him. You can't but just love her. Brilliance and passion. Says I wish her all the best at BFC California. Keep making us proud. I think you speak for a lot of Nigerians.
A lot of Nigerians.
Really, when you say
no
that.
doubt in my mind that she'll keep doing that. This one is from Dan, and he says she wasn't appreciated enough, always scoring goals and yet not starting.
Yeah, so we got into that eventually. That got a lot of people talking, because each time, if you watch the match, I know a lot of people don't watch female football. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Not you, Bukola. I'm looking at you. They don't watch female football, so they might not know what plays out there. But for a lot of people who watch, they say, why doesn't she start most of the matches? What we see is Asisat coming on, especially in recent times, coming on later in the match, and they're like, I mean, this is one of the best footballers, the best footballer in Africa,
for a goal scorer,
one of the best in the world, and she's on the bench. So it got a lot of people talking, and you'd understand why Dan is saying that one. But, you know, we saw the video when she was leaving. Her teammates handed her a shirt, and then there were hugs and stuff. But it's still, a lot of people talked about that. We understand all of that. Desmond Ori says, I said, Oshola, thank you for everything, Agbabola, just to show that Nigerians, they love the Agbabola from moon to the earth to everywhere, literally.
And then back again.
And back again.
All right, this one is from Basa Femeni. Asisat Shoala, farewell message on Instagram. And I think it's Asisat tweeting herself now or posting.
Yeah.
And she says, Basa will always hold a special place in my heart. I will carry with me the memories, lessons, and friendships that I have gained during my time here.
So, I mean, here's wishing Asisat the very best from all of us here. We look forward to seeing you banging all of those goals, maybe different shades of your hair from time to time. Hey, feel free, do your thing. But sports is a big thing on social media this morning, understandably, because Nigeria will be playing against Angola in just some hours' time. But another twist to this conversation played out on social media. It was what you call, is it the battles of the embassies or what have you? So take a look at this particular post. So it was US in Nigeria, the US mission in Nigeria, putting up a post on X, and it was targeted at the US embassy in Luanda, Angola, saying, hey, US Embassy Luanda, Nigeria Super Eagles are set to face Angola's Palancas Negras in the AFCON quarterfinal on Friday. It's like comparing jollof rice to Mwamba de Galinha, which, of course, is a favorite
Don't
there.
tell me the US Embassy has gotten in on that trend as well.
And you wonder, where is the Mwamba de Galinha coming from? Well, we know Ghana jollof. We know
Cameroonian jollof.
At least Cameroonian jollof was added later, but this... And then you see the U.S. mission in Nigeria saying Nigeria is the favorite. Let's celebrate African unity on and off the field. And they're asking for predictions. So it's quite interesting. A lot of people say, okay, nice one, nice banter. That's what it's called on social media. No hard feelings. This is just banter. Nobody should take it serious. It's important to put that on record. But it's quite interesting to see U.S. mission in Nigeria and U.S. Embassy Luanda bantering on social media.
I hope that love will extend to our visas as well for Nigeria. Did I say that?
You
okay,
did.
I didn't.
You said it out loud.
Okay, this one is from Uncle Deji, and he says goalkeeper Nwabali is now fit for African war against Angola. Morale booster to other soldiers. Now go and mop them all. Go Super Eagles, go.
I know, right? And Bukola has been very upbeat since that news came up. She's like, yeah, Nwabali is back.
It's back.
So yeah, a lot of us are excited, but we wish them the very best. It's important to stay focused. Now, it's not just on the field that there's action or on the stands. Even spiritually, there's been some action, and Jimmy Odukoya, Pastor Jimmy Odukoya, had put up a video in the last match, before the last match, where he prayed and all of that. So people are praying as well. So this is what he put up.
Very funny video, by the way.
I know.
Send it for Cameroon.
Spiritually. So I imagine that this is happening for the match against Angola. So he put up this post on X saying, people of God, our prayers have reached the Super Eagles camp against the game tomorrow, which is today, by the way. thank you, Madam Aisha Falade, because she also put up a video. We will not relent. Angola, we are ready. And it says, prayer video for the match incoming. Well, I mean, we take our match serious, absolutely.
Bodily exercise profiteth little, but spiritual exercise profiteth unto all things.
Absolutely.
So let's hope this is enough backing to secure victory for Nigerians. This one is from the Peak Santi. Well, I think we're out of time. Okay, and we take this one. It's just one line.
We can just go to the. You can take that one. Then
Yeah.
we'll go to the dollar trend.
Yeah, and this is he says, or they say, Angola be scared. Be very, very scared. Okay. No fear now.
Yeah,
but a good
let's take
competition.
Let's take it easy. Okay, it's just football. But the biggest one, of course, which concerns the money in your pocket and the economy, is the dollar and the CBN. They have been trending. Of course, we know why. And this is Sani Ahmed Keitafi saying, instead of our elders to fight for interest-free loans and grants from the CBN and AFG interventions, also for more access to financial institutions in our rural north, they are shouting over transfer of staff to Lagos. So this is coming on the heels of the old controversy around relocation of First Fan HQ, some departments in the CBN. And I think that Sani Ahmed Keitafi is trying to turn attention to what he feels is more important, and that's interest-free loans, grants from the CBN, AFG interventions, because all of these things are needed to help people at least find their way through this harsh economic reality. So that's from Sani Keitafi there.
Well, I guess Keitafi is saying that there are issues more important than the debate over the transfer of staff to Lagos and major government agencies. Well, point taking, I guess there needs to be more tete-a-tete on that. This one is from Storecares 25, and they say, too many pairs and gamers on the FX. That should be Forex.
Yeah.
However, kudos to the Apex Bank, but monitoring, sanctions, and prosecution of erring banks and officials will lead to the magic of stable FX.
Sanctions, prosecutions, that's what he's calling for. By the way, there's been a flurry, if I could say that, of CBN regulations. The past few days have been a lot. Sometimes you get 2 in a day saying this is what should be done now, this is how to approach this when it comes to FX, when it comes to regularizing reporting mechanisms and the rest. So the CBN, they will say, has been on steroids literally with that. But a lot of people are speaking to that one. Take a look at Sam Drew saying it is gra-gra. Yeah, it's a Nigerian term that means how do you?
Show of force.
Yeah, show of force.
But without much action. I wonder if that's an adjoining meaning to
So
it.
that's right. But he says, nah, gra-gra, we have seen it before. Goes on to say the fundamentals are not there. All these, he says, cosmetics won't solve a chronic issue. So, Sandra, what is a chronic issue? What do you think it really is? Let us know. I mean, you can put up a follow-up to this tweet so we can break it down further.
Is it the extreme dependence on the dollar, as a form of currency, or for the exchange rate? Let's know. This one is from Ayekoto, and they say money should be the means of exchange, but in Nigeria, money has become a commodity being traded in a speculative market. Yeah. CBN must come to the rescue of the naira.
So, I think that is what a lot of people are looking forward to, are expected. So, let us see how that plays out. These are some of the things you're saying on the social media space. Don't forget, you can hashtag us on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, CTV Morning Brief. Let us know what you think, particularly on the issues talked about. Security, that's top on the agenda. The economy, absolutely. Then, of course, there's sports as well. There's always that different sides to life. So let us know what you think on X and other social media platforms. And, of course,
yes, indeed.
WhatsApp.
You can send us your videos on WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number will be scrolling on your screen very soon, and we'll authenticate the videos and play back, just to build up on the awareness and perhaps, cause some positive change. So we want your posts on all of those conversations, starting with this morning, the role of the state security networks in combating crime and all forms of criminality. That will be our first port of call.
Absolutely.
And we'll be right back after this time out to begin the conversation.
Just stay with us.
Welcome back to the Morning Brief. We shift gears now. We will be talking about security, that all-important subject that we've been talking about for a long time, because security and welfare of our citizens is paramount. That is the primary responsibility of government. So one person dying or being abducted should be a concern to all of us, which is why we can't stop talking about it until things change and there is a clear-cut way to reverse this trend. Nigeria is not at war, but the number of people dying appears like the country is at war. But what can we do to change all of this? That's why we're being joined by our guest via Zoom. He's a retired commissioner of police. He wears many caps, a former commissioner of police in Kaduna, former commander, police mobile force, Owerri, Imo, Kaduna, and DC, former DC operations, Anambra State, as well as former DC CID FCT command, Mr. Agiole Abe. Mr. Agiole, thank you so much. Mr. Abe, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Maybe let's begin by you speaking to some of the developments you've seen across different states, measures being put in place by chief security officers of their states to protect their people. I don't know what your impressions are about some of this development, because at some point people have been screaming, what are governors doing? What the governors have said. In fact, I remember when Governor Nyesom Wike was then governor, former Governor Nyesom Wike was governor of Rivers State. I heard him say time and again that he's not the chief security officer, he's a chief logistics officer. So it appears the government now are listening and saying, look, we have to take our destiny in our hands. So I wouldn't know, what's your impression of this development? Will this be able to reverse some of the things we're seeing across the different states of the Federation?
Thank you. I think what the governors are doing are very essential to protecting the people, because they have a responsibility to do so. They were voted into power because they assured the people that they were going to protect them. And what is happening across the board regarding these forms of criminality must be checked. And I commend particularly the governor of Zamfara State for what he's doing, and I think he's going to assist the security agencies in combating the menace of these criminals. Don't forget, these people come from the communities, and they know the communities very well. And I think the activities will go a long way in protecting the people, because the governors of the states are the chief security officers of the state, and that is their responsibility. First,
okay, I thought you were done. Go ahead, please, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I thought you were done, sir. Some will
Yes,
say
sir.
that great initiative. We've seen this done across parts of the country. But others will also argue that why does it look like we're always reactive in our approach than being proactive?
And I belong to that school of thought too. We wait for too long until things go wrong. I want to commend the initiative of the Inspector General of Police regarding the present trend of crime in the country, especially kidnapping and banditry, and formation of the Special Intelligence Squad. But at the same time, like others must have observed, must we wait until it happens? We should be able to put in place measures to prevent this thing in the first place from happening. Because when they happen, lives are lost, properties are destroyed. So I think we need to rejig our security agencies to be able to perform their optimal responsibilities of protecting the life of properties of Nigerians. For now, a lot needs to be done.
Speaking of what should be done, initially it would seem that there was a debate over whether governors were in agreement about the need for state police. But listening to the chairman of the Governors Forum just days ago, Governor of Imo State, it would seem as if they're now on the same page on the need for state police. And he also says, in fact, that the federal government is giving backing to subnationals on the establishment of vigilante networks. But, Mr. Abe, when you consider Amotekun in the operations of Amotekun in the southwest, Nigeria-Angola that was disbanded in the southeast, and the lack of uniformity in security operations of networks in the north, why do you think there hasn't been sustainability of the networks, of the initiatives over the last few years?
Yeah, the primary purpose of governance is to provide security to the people. And where this appears to fail, the people begin to look for solutions outside the government space. So I think, and then because the states have distinct criminal issues, so they found it difficult to come together to agree on a common front. But now that these issues appears to be all over the northern region particularly, they needed to come together and achieve certain results, and that is what they are doing. And then I think when we look at some states and regarding maybe the kind of resources they have at their disposal, you find out that they are not able to cope with these issues of criminalities, and then you find these things happening unchecked. But I think they are doing more now to assuage these issues of criminalities in their various states.
But Mr. Abe, shouldn't that be then a test of the capacity of government at all levels, either as a federal or the state government? I mean, there's the security vote, an undetermined amount of security vote that accrues to the state governors. And on the other hand, there is a budget allocated to the security by the federal government. How can these resources be harnessed such that the state security networks can function optimally and perhaps solve the challenge of insecurity across the nation?
I think the governors have seen the threat to their states, and for them to go this way to form these security networks and equipping them with essential equipments to combat these crimes, I think they already know the threat, and I believe that they are going to harness these resources and channel it to a better way of fighting crime.
Right. I see your experience spans across the country. You served in the FCT, served in the Southeast, served in the Northwest, even in the Southwest. So I understand that you would have lots of experience about the peculiarities of insecurity across those parts of the country. In the Southwest, we've seen a recent trend of monarchs being killed, another killed in Kwara of recent, 2 killed from Ekiti. Very sad. A lot of people are wondering, is this now targeted? Is there like a hit job that has been put out on monarchs? We've seen the kidnapping of children now. Even in the FCT, we saw children kidnapped with their parents and some of them killed. And I wonder, when you look at all of these cases, for the Nigerian who is watching the trends, they're trying to piece the dots and thinking, what exactly is going on? I don't know if for you, you've been able to look at those incidents and you're thinking, okay, this is what is going on, at least this is what may be going on right now.
First of all, my condolences to the families of the 2 monarchs that were killed in Ekiti State, and that of the FCT, the Nabi family, and the children being kidnapped. We know what these families are going through now, and we pray that the police and other security agencies will be able to fish out the perpetrators of this crime. However, like I said, crime differs from one place to the other, and the reason behind this crime. But in Nigeria, we begin to see a different outlook of this form of criminalities. It appears as if the missions of these criminals is the same. Because kidnapping, ask for ransom, either you kill, then what is the role of government in all this? We must equip our security agencies. There are no two ways about it. The issue of putting up security agencies to fight crime is not just it. How do we intend to equip them with modern, sophisticated weapons? Are the police, in particular, because that is their responsibility constitutionally, to protect life and property. But the question is, do they have the capacity to do so as it is now? This crime has gotten beyond what we expect, so we need to react to it with the kind of sophistication we have, and I don't believe sincerely too that we have such capacity to do so. The Nigerian police in particular.
I think it was last year that I came across a report that you were appointed Commander Taraba Marshal Security Guards. Am I correct?
You're correct.
And I imagine that you're still in charge of the security guards.
Yeah, we are here trying to put up a robust security outfit for Taraba State, because we happen to share some of these unfortunate incidents of kidnapping and banditry in Taraba State, and the outfit is geared towards combating this menace of the crime, and we are working tirelessly. My governor is much more interested in ensuring that the people of Taraba stay safe, and by the grace of God, in the next few months, we will be rolling out one of the most robust security outfits in this part of the country.
You know, my question particularly is, so a lot of people have said, yes, it's good to have these security networks, but there's always that debate around how much is too much arming them, if you get what I'm saying. I know during the past administration there was a call, and I think the Benue State governor was trying to champion that, saying, well, we need to arm these people more, at least. Give us some sort of license. Interestingly, the governor of Taraba State is a retired military, general of sorts. So speak to us. Is this security network that you're planning to bring on board, would you say it is enough in that sense, that there will be no need for that debate of let's arm them the more? Is it enough in its own?
We are not trying to bring it on board. The office already on ground, but we're working out modalities for its operations so that they can effectively and efficiently provide the needed services to the people of the state. And I saw an interview where, I think at Arise TV, asked him one question: why would the people who come to kill us brandish AK-47 and we can protect ourselves? I think the time is now for the government to look at the areas of allowing the security agencies to carry some form of weapon that they will be able to defend themselves, one, and defend the people, because they can't do that with bare hands. And so I believe that we should be able to be properly armed to fight this form of criminalities, especially in rural areas where security agencies cannot easily access.
Okay, I was watching, I think, one of the international networks, and I saw that Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook and some of the social media platforms, was questioned about the activities of the company as it relates to children. And at some point when they were, talking to him, really hitting him hard, he was forced to apologize to families of these people that their children were harmed because of the, some of the things that go on the social platform that were not good for children. But because restrictions were not strong enough, they were exposed to these things, and some maybe died in the process or got depressed. So the parents were there at the hearing. I say that to say this. It appears there is no strong punitive measure, because there has to be a nexus between security and the judiciary. In your view, Because they say desperate times demands desperate measure. Are we doing enough to push people back as a deterrent against committing some of this crime? We hear governors dragging their foot to sign death penalties and all of that. But as a police officer, do you think that some drastic measure have to be taken so that anyone who kills faces the law and to the latter?
Absolutely, we're not doing enough. When you want to deter crime, somebody has to take responsibility. Somebody has to be punished for such crime. But when we keep seeing these crimes and we are not seeing so much punishments coming out, we find out that people think is the norm of the society. It's not that something is not being done, but we need to see physically what is being done, people being punished for particular crimes, especially the ones that are eating deep into the fabric of our community. They must be dealt with according to the law for the people to see and deter others from committing such crime. You find out that our children have taken the social media as part of their life, and regulating it is very, very difficult. So that goes to we, the parents, too. Crime prevention should be the responsibility of everyone, and the parents have a role to play in this, educating their children against the dangers of being involved in this social media and endangering their own lives. I think parents too must play a very responsible role in trying to teach their children how to behave.
Well, one of the things I'm also concerned about, because sometimes for there to be healing and change, there has to be brutal honesty. I remember what happened on the plateau. The military came out and say, I think they said Header militia were responsible for those killings. And then we interviewed some of the people that were affected in Mango, and Mark Bandman, that Mieti Allah chairman in the local government, which we were showing pictures of arrest by the security agencies. I would say, was any of your people, were they arrested? He said, no, none of his people were arrested. So I'm saying that to ask, how far can facing the truth brutally help us to change the trajectory of insecurity in Nigeria? Because it appears sometimes we shy away from the truth and we keep running around circles and it never changes.
And honestly, it's most unfortunate we happen to find ourselves in this type of scenario. And I want to believe that change remains the only thing that will move us forward. Our activity so far is beyond expectation, the activities of security agencies, and they need to do more. Because for one life lost, it's not too good for a country, particularly in cases of kidnapping and banditry. So, and we need to change the narratives. We need a reorientation of the system completely so that we'll be able to face up to the challenges that is before the security agencies. And I think the government too must play a role in this aspect, because that is their responsibility. They have a responsibility to protect the people. They have a responsibility to equip their security agencies to react to this type of crimes. So when they do that, I think we will have a form of relief.
Now, Ms. Abe, I wonder if, some of that brutal honesty will have to do with the conversation about the activities of herders in most parts of the country. And in relation to that as well, I'd like you to speak to that because there have been quite a number of clashes between farmers and herders, even in Taraba State, where you currently serve as the head of the local security network. But also in relation to that, there have been reports of threats of criminality from across the border, Cameroon to be precise. It's been reported in Taraba, and it's also been reported in Cross River State. And that speaks to the foreign dimension to this challenge of insecurity and banditry. I'd like you to speak to this to the extent that perhaps you provide information about the nature of this threat. Who are these people and what do they want? Why are they such a huge threat to the local population on the border, on the fringes of the border with these countries?
Taraba State, as you know, sits on a border with Cameroon. And when His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Taraba State, Dr. Kefas, came on board, he recognized this threat and took an immediate step to, first of all, contain the activities of these trans-border criminals. And one of the things he observed was the issue of illegal mining, bringing into the state a lot of foreign nationals, because Taraba is a vast land that it's not practically possible to get security to certain areas. So what he did was to put up an executive order banning or suspending illegal mining of any type in Taraba State. And that helped a lot because we were able to, and there was a task force that was charged with a responsibility to ensuring that the forests are safe, and the task force went into action. And as a matter of fact, today I can say that the state achieved a lot in this area, and the cases of attack by these bandits, we will not completely say these bandits are all from foreign nationals. That is not true. We still have interstate criminals crossing into Taraba State to perpetrate these crimes and run back to their states. Taraba is bordered by so many states, and honestly, it is quite difficult to be able to police these porous borders. But in the state here, we've been able to successfully reduce the cases of these attacks.
Just so we can bring on board some of the contributions from our audience, I see this one from Orebi Emmanuel, and I think Orebi had put up a message yesterday as well. Apparently, he says that his father is also a monarch, sharing boundaries with Ekiti and Kwara, where their monarchs had been killed, and says there's serious need for community policing so that every community can be responsible for their security. I see Alexander Gamaliel also saying it is sad that human beings find joy in killing people that they didn't create. Says the security personnel need to step up their game, and prays that may all the lives lost find rest. There's always that question: why are people taking the lives of other people? And I know that you are a security operative. You've seen it all. They always say the police, they see the worst of the society. So maybe you've seen some of the reasons that these people give for taking lives. Perhaps you might want to speak to that. But for the citizen, the communities that are saying, we can't just sit down and wait for these people to come. We don't want to feel helpless, even if we're far away from civilization, in quote, or we're far away from security response. We need to do something to protect ourselves. And I wonder what you would advise them this morning. They would say, well, we need to find a way to meet their force with equal force or even more force. We can't be using bow and arrow when these people are coming with AK-47. So for communities who are feeling helpless, or at least they want to do something, what options are available for them, or to them in this case?
I think the options are what the states are doing now, putting together security outfits for the states to carry out community policing. What we are advocating for is for the government to allow this security, private security agents for the states to carry weapons to protect these communities, because crime is becoming explosive and we cannot fight with bow and arrows. I think it would be best for the government to consider allowing security, these private security agencies belonging to government, to fight this form of criminalities in conjunction with the police force. They are not doing this alone. They need the police. They need the backing of the Nigerian police force to fight this crime. There are other agencies that are involved in this. war. In Taraba, there is a robust synergy between all the security services in the state, and that, I think, accounts for the successes we are achieving in the state. And I see nothing wrong with communities getting involved in the security of their various communities, because they have a responsibility to safeguard themselves from this form of criminalities. It's getting too many,
Indeed.
so we need to react.
So I just wanted you to speak to the other part of the question, the motives that you found to be responsible for these killings, kidnappings. What is usually at the heart of it? Because that's a major part of the conversation that is still missing.
I think we begin to look at the mindset of these criminals. And when you look at the age bracket of most of these suspects, they range between 18 to 25. Then you look at the issue of drug consumption. It's playing a greater role in how they react during these crimes. So I think one motivating factor that leads them to kill is the issue of drugs. Then secondly, I think it depends on the type of crime, indoctrination by particular groups, hatred for one another. You find that there are so many reasons depending on the type of crime. Honestly speaking, I look at some of these crimes as barbarism because they will have no reason to occur. Some murders have no reason to take place. But we find out that they derive joy in killing. And honestly speaking, when you interview a lot of these suspects, they cannot even tell you why they commit such crime. They cannot even explain, but you find out that a lot of them are on drugs. Especially this issue of kidnapping. You find out that if you go to rescue some victims, you find out that within this phase of the area these victims are kept, you see all forms of empty packs of various drugs. And this is what they live on. And when they no longer find value in human life, and that is very, very terrible, because when people no longer respect human life and see the value of human life, then a lot of things will go wrong. I think we need a complete orientation of our youth, because it's getting dangerous, and I foresee a situation where if we don't control it now, it will be terrible.
Ms. Abe, some of the things we're talking about now, as we said, reactive. Of course, people cannot just be sitting idly by and they get killed. They have to do something. But let's look at the future. Let's project into the future, because we've seen a situation where allegedly, say, politicians arm people to, for their electoral whatever, and at the end of the day, when they don't compensate these guys, they use those arms to turn against citizens to commit all kinds of crime. I want you to look at it holistically. If we start arming the people, as well as the people that are already killing people, I mean, whether it's header militia or other forms of criminality or the other, don't you think that we need to start looking into the future on the level of ammunition and gun control and bring that conversation to the fore, so that when we are done with this short-term measure to protect our people, we now look at a long-term measure to build a safer society according to the second schedule in the exclusive list of the government, to make sure that we don't just have proliferation of arms. So tomorrow we arm these networks, okay, defend yourself, and maybe they are not well paid. Tomorrow they turn against the community that they are supposed to protect. So I want you to speak about long-term measure to keep community and the nation safe if we start arming people.
Absolutely, we need a long-term measures. And the actors who are the law enforcement agencies, we need to project what the future is going to be, how the crime is going to look like in the next period to come, and they will be able to prepare for it, not to wait until it happens, because, like you pointed out, it's going to be difficult when everyone begins to carry weapons to protect himself, to control it will be difficult. But for now, it's the only option, and we need it to safeguard the communities. And I think we are not looking at issues everyone in the community carrying gun. No. If you see what Zamfara did, what Taraba State is doing, we want to arm this security office to be able to discharge certain responsibilities to the people. I don't think we are looking at the larger population carrying arms. That would be state of anarchy, and it shouldn't be encouraged.
Yeah, Mr. Abe, I'm not talking about the larger population carrying arms, which is why I posited it with some mischievous politicians who have done these things. I mean, we've seen videos of even serving officers complaining about, you know, their welfare package. And these are very trained individuals at the end of the day. So when you now bring these people to protect their community, there has to be a way to make sure that the appetite doesn't shift, their intent doesn't shift to now be counterproductive. We're not saying the entire community should be protected. So the man holds the gun, he's been serving for 3 years, he said, my stipend is 20,000, what can I do with 20,000? But I have gun in my hand. That's exactly what I'm speaking to, sir.
Yeah, and I think the government must be just and fair to the security agencies. The police, in particular, where I served, I think you train, armed, and you don't provide welfare. That is a dangerous scenario we are creating. And these people the police protect are living in affluence. And when they are abandoned, honestly speaking, the danger to the society is enormous. So I think I appeal to the government to discharge their responsibility. They should have the political will to equip, train, and provide welfare to their security agencies, not just the police. All security agencies have one issue or the other, and this is contributing to these issues we are having, because we should not shy away from the truth. You don't give a thug a gun and ask him to protect you, and when you abandon him, he turns the gun against you. So if you equip the police and you refuse to provide him with what will make him work hard, honestly, it's dangerous. And secondly, honestly, we begin to look at training our police force to respond to civil authority. What I mean is, the police has been so much militarized that you find out that their functions does not conform with practices that are acceptable all over the world. Policing is about the community. And when we begin to give our police a military outlook, it's not too good. And some of these incidents we are seeing is because of the kind of orientation we are giving to these officers. We need a change. It's not about IGP Kayode Egbetekun. No, it's not about anyone. It's about the government thinking, what kind of force do we need for this country? For now, the police force we have in this country, where I come from and retire from, honestly, our mindset, maybe because we have found ourselves under constant military rule in the past, we've been able to imbibe this kind of military culture of operations. We are not soldiers. We are trained to provide security for the community. But the way we are now, we need a reorientation of our police force to react to what is happening. And technology is what policing is about. And that is what we do not really put into consideration. The police needs to rethink and to reorganize itself so as to discharge its primary responsibility to the country. Thank you.
You know, Mr. Abe, what you have said just now is quite instructive, and I wonder if the state security networks have the proper policing culture that is required to police their communities, you know, knowing that they are trained, knowing that they come up with these initiatives within such a short time. And you may want to tell us, you know, what goes into that, and if some of these state security networks have received the proper training. But also, while you're doing that, I know you have touched on it by mention during my question earlier. If you were to advise the subnational leaders about the need for cohesion, what would you be saying to them? Because a lot of them are acting alone. And you know what they say about wanting to go so far, go alone, but wanting to go very far, you go together. So if you were to provide counsel as far as collaboration is concerned, what would you be telling them, particularly about the need to be able to combat criminality within regions?
Thank you. Let me speak about Taraba State. The Taraba State Marshal, we are doing everything possible to get them educated on policing. And these officers are being trained by well-experienced consultants and then serving members from the civil defense, even the military, the police. And the police is playing a greater role in this training because we need to allow these officers that are recruited into the marshal to have basic knowledge of law enforcement. And that is why, in particular, we are still keeping the marshals in the classroom. They are still undergoing training until we are convinced that they have the capacity and the ability to be able to police their communities. And I believe, too, that that is what some of these states that already have the security office have done, because if you look at Zamfara, you see the element that these people have been conditioned to perform certain responsibility, like as indicated in what we saw on the TV. And then the issue of collaboration is, there is no two way about it. We have states bordering, Taraba, Gombe State, Adamawa State, Nasarawa. We find out that Benue State, and if these states do not collaborate to fight this crime, when I was in Kaduna, we have this operation Sharan Daji, where states that are bordering themselves came together to form a common front. And honestly, that was one of the things that led to, under the leadership of Governor El-Rufai, that was able to be able to control some of these crimes. And I think my state governor, Dr. Abu Kefas, has been able to reach out to governors, particularly in Benue, the Benue State governor, to be able to see how we can work together to be able to confront this inter-border crimes. And I think it's yielding some fruitful result. And we believe that if the states come together, particularly in particular regions, the Northeast, like you see in the North Central, right, honestly, we will achieve a lot than fighting alone.
And I think the governor can really bring to bear his experience, retired lieutenant colonel, I should have said earlier, and with that kind of experience in defense intelligence, it's a no-brainer. You expect that all of that experience should be brought on board. Speaking about Taraba, which is, as we wind down, Taraba is known for the beautiful scenery, the weather, the agriculture. Just recently, a motorcyclist from outside the country, I think the Netherlands or one of those countries, had cause to ride through Taraba. And, the scenery was just breathtaking. It was just beautiful. People kept asking, where is this in Nigeria? And, I just told people that that's Taraba State. The Mambila Plateau, the tea plantations, all of that really beautiful scenery. I'm tempted to ask if, Taraba is now open for tourism in a big way, because there were concerns about security. Even for her, she had to watch her movement and all of that. So I'd like you to speak to that, the work you're doing, and I imagine you're working in all of those areas, the hinterlands. How safe is Taraba now? Because there's so much tourism potential crying for visit.
Late last year, the Taraba State government hosted the International Tourism Day in Mambila, in Gemu in particular, and a lot of foreign people attended the celebration, and we recorded no incident. For now, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Taraba State, like you said, he's been able to bring to bear his wealth of military experience, especially that he served in the intelligence unit, and that's helping us a lot to be able to cope some of this crime. And he's directly involved in this fight. And I can tell you that Taraba is safe. He's been able to provide enabling environment for tourists to come into the state. He's been able to work towards revamping some of the agricultural resources that are available to the state. And like you said, today the Highland tea is much back to production. And we are looking at the areas of even educating our children. That is why he was able to provide free education to children at secondary and primary levels. And we are creating an awareness. He has been able to provide the workers with incentives during his few months in power. He has been able to increase salaries of our workers in the state so that we can be able to provide services to the communities. He has done a lot, and I can assure you that His Excellency, the Governor of Taraba State, is doing enough, and Taraba is safe for visitors to come in as I speak with you. Very safe.
All right. Beautiful things we're hearing there. So we hope that this pans out eventually so that the state leaves some of these hot spots that we've seen in the past, and all of this is reversed. But let's talk about the generality of policing now. You retired as a commissioner of police. There are numbers being bantered around sometimes. So I want to find out from you, because the reason I'm asking this question, I saw a video online of a soldier who had been at the front line for about a year, and he said he was going back to see his family, and his salary is 50,000 according to him. I don't know whether that's salary or allowance, I'm not sure what it is, but he said his salary is 50,000 naira, but he found out that transportation will cost him to and fro about 35,000, which is about 70, so he can't go and come back, so he just decided to stay in the bush and continue what he was doing. So some people were trying to support him and all of that. So let's begin. As a commissioner of police, how much does the lowest person, is it Lance Corporal now? I don't know. Lowest constable, yeah, that should be constable. How much does the constable earn? I know I wouldn't want to ask how much does the commissioner of police earn, but if you have that liberty to tell us, no problem. So we know how much our people are earning, so that we'll put this out, so make a case for them.
As a matter of fact, I wouldn't want to, but sincerely, I will put it that an average policeman is not paid for his services. That is just the truth. Because if you know what, if a soldier with that, if a corporal in the army said his salary is 50,000, they know how much the policeman will be collecting, a corporal in the police force will be collecting. It's ridiculous. I don't think...
You can give us a range. You may not tell us it's 30,000 or 20,000. Can you give us a range? Does an average constable earn up to 100,000?
An average constable in the Nigerian police, I believe his salary range is between 30 and 40.
And he has a gun.
And I just made this issue earlier, and I am honest about it. When you arm someone and you make him hungry, expect a harsh response from such persons. One, they are not properly kept. So many issues arising, especially from the police force, equipping them, providing them uniform, accommodation. When a man is earning 45,000 naira a month and he lives outside the his workplace, he does not have a barrack, he pays a rent, he's frustrated. And when you have a frustrated and armed person who suffers, our citizens bear the growth because they transfer this aggression on the citizens, and that is just the truth. We need to look at the welfare of these young men and women carrying arms and policing the communities. It is not fair. The commissioner of police, I am a retired commissioner of police. I don't want to tell you how much I earn in a month, because you are going to ask me, how am I surviving?
Wow.
Upon retirement, I relocated to the US, and I saw an average security guard in the US, what he earns is much better than what a commissioner of police earns in a month in Nigeria. It's unfortunate and it's disheartening and it's discouraging, and that accounts for the low performance, low motivation of our security agencies. The government has a responsibility to do that. We don't need to ask questions. We need to do, we need to act, because they already know the problem of the force, particularly the politicians. The police force work with them, so they know our problem better than we know, because we've been working with them over the years. And maybe they derive pleasure in saying that they have a low moral police force following them about, so that they will have control over such force, because when you have a hungry man, it's easier to control him than a man who is contented and satisfied, being fed by the government. But when politicians begin to feed police officers, what you are going to experience is what is happening in our streets. And that accounts for why state governors are now coming up to form their own security outfit, because they need to be protected. They need to protect their communities too. If the government is performing her responsibility, honestly, some of these issues will not arise. If the police has capacity in Taraba State, there will be no need for Taraba Marshal. But when you have less than 6,000 policemen in a vast state like Taraba, how do you intend the police to effectively police Taraba State?
All right,
so we need...
my apologies, but so just maybe land on your thought in 10 seconds. Just land on that thought so that I don't cut you off.
Go ahead.
All right. We're totally out of time. Mr. Agiole Abe, the former Commissioner of Police, you wear many caps. You've been around the country doing the great work of policing. We must thank you for your insights today. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. All right. So, yeah, I'm sure you heard from the Commissioner of Police himself, and I'm wondering, you may be scratching your head and asking some questions. Well, that's why we brought him, to give us answers to those questions. Now it's time for us to think together as citizens and as a government to make sure that the welfare of our security agents is put in the front burner so that they can protect us better. But hey, we're going to switch gears now to something different, not security this time. We head down to the exciting world of movie making, and we're going to be joined by one of the veterans of the industry. I'm not going to say her name, but you're going to see this in a moment, and then we'll bring her on to have this conversation. Welcome back. I'm sure you're wondering, I thought you said an actor, she's supposed to be acting. Well, that's why they're called the creatives. They have a range, literally. They could do a lot of things. They can even be in broadcasting, some of them. So it's a range of talent for the people in this industry. And we have joining us right now. You've seen on your screen, she's singing. I'm sure you were wondering, she should be acting. Yes, she wears all of that cap. Jennifer Iliogu joins us right here on The Morning Brief. Thank you so much for coming and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And you look amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, I like that.
You know, I tried to do the explanation on your behalf.
Okay.
But since you're here, you do that explanation.
On your behalf.
On your own behalf. We were seeing you on the screens acting. That's what we're familiar with. Mm-hmm. And now we're seeing you singing. So maybe a little explanation for some press release.
Well, I sing as well. Years after acting, I went back to my first love. I started singing full time. I didn't leave acting anyway.
Because it's usually the other way around. For some people, they start singing and then they go into acting and then they just coast on. But for you,
it's different.
You are holding both industries, literally.
Seriously, I'm holding it down, seriously. Yes.
Now that song, for people who don't speak the language, apparently it's become a hit. And I think the lyrics actually resonates a lot. So maybe talk us through what you were trying to portray and pass across with that song.
That song is titled Onolubi. Onulube Wanna also simply means, in a layman's language, he that hears the cry of a brethren, help out. It's just a cry for togetherness, for people to come back together, for forgiveness, for unity, trust, brotherhood. I think we have lost our humanity in recent times, you'll agree with me. The kinds of things you hear and see on the social media street is sometimes is mind-blowing. And I don't know, I've done music 10 years before I did Onulube, and it's not my usual genre. But it came, it's like a message, and I was restless about it, reading those things, watching videos, kidnappings, killings, stories that never used to be. They have become like a norm. And I felt like, okay, so what can I do to help? Use my voice. and truthfully, I'm grateful that I did this. I'm grateful to God for that gift, that using me as a vessel, because the Igbo community at home and in diaspora, you don't want to know how much they have embraced the song. You see families making up, you see groups making up, you see siblings making up, and they reach out to me to say, thank you, I listened to your song, and I made up with my brother, I made up with my sister. That alone, for me, it just makes me grateful to God that he was able to use me, or I made myself available to be used, you know. So yes, and then we're moving on.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. And so whether it's on Onulube or any other song that, you know, I've heard you sing, I see that preference for your language, which is beautiful,
Yes.
by the way.
Yes.
It's suggestive of delving into Igbo folklore proper. I want you to talk to us about that, you know. What are those influences? Did they start as a child for you that makes it resonate with you, that particular Igbo genre?
Igbo language.
Yeah.
Well, it does. I grew up in Lagos, but I grew up with a typical Igbo man as a father, a titled man. So we spoke Igbo in the house. In fact, we do primary school in Lagos, and then we go to my hometown to do secondary school. I did secondary school in my hometown in the village. And I remember my schoolmates would call me Suboyibo. Suboyibo means speak English.
Right.
Because they thought I spoke a lot of English. I mean, I grew up in Lagos, and then you come to school in the village. Everything around me, the songs, the kind of music my father played growing up, he played a lot of high life, you know, music. And I think and my mom was a lover girl, so she did a lot of love songs, you know.
Oh, she was into music as well.
Sorry?
She was into music.
No, but she just loved music.
Oh,
she loves to sing. She sings better than myself, actually. Yes, she does. So it influenced me a lot. And then growing up, you know, we had a lot of values back then. There are things you don't say, there are things you don't do. There are kind of songs I do. I do a lot of love songs. Love for God, love for self. You don't give what you don't have. And love for humanity. You know, so you find that I do a little bit of this and that. I do inspirational songs. I do lovers rock reggae. I do ballads, and then high life. Oh, that's my forte. So yes, it has influenced me, and I love my language. I'm unapologetically Igbo. And I love to sing in my dialect. Yes.
Yeah, preach it, ma'am.
Yes.
So let's go back to where we knew you from, for some of us, which is acting. And talk to us about how you are, because at your level, at some point, you will begin to choose roles you want to play. You don't just pick anything, because now you're beginning to see your position in the industry that it has to be about something. So as it stands now, if people come up to you and you want to evaluate the industry, what are the kinds of script you're expecting people to bring to you that you will gladly jump on, just like you jump on the music?
Yeah, I would naturally tell to us stories that teach values, morals. You know, doesn't mean one is a very good person, but, you know, you feel the urge. A lot of people look up to me, especially the younger ones. They always say, I get those messages, I get to talk to them. I happen to do public speaking, especially for the youth, so I hear them talk. And when I talk, they listen. luckily for me. So I'm thinking, if people look up to you, to whom much is given, you know, so I always would want to do feature in films that portray, somebody has to play the bad guy anyway. And if I need to play that, I will. If it's very relevant to the story, and at the end of the day, there's a moral, there's a value to be learnt, then that's fine with me. But I wouldn't go out of my way to be part of any movie just because of the money. Well, that's very important. Anyway. That's very important. But first, it's the story. First, the story. Who am I working with? What is this about? What am I bringing to the table? What value would this character add to the story and to the audience who are going to watch? So yes, I actually do take my time, read the script, and be sure that this is what I want to be part of, and this is how it's going to affect the audience at the end of the day, because it's all about the consumers. What are you passing along? It's important.
I noticed a thread in your responses. So you have a different worldview. I don't know if it's come as a result of experience, age. So you're big on, you know, culture, ethics, what will bring us together, preaching the right kind of, you know, message. So it's not just about, you know, fashion, do anything to trend. No. You know, that's what it is now these days. For me, people just want to be in the news for different reasons, and you go, do you know that young people are watching you? Exactly. Why would you put this out there? Why would you say this? And it was good to hear you mention social media, because that's like the reality for a lot of people.
I know.
This world is the second world. Social media is the reality. People spend more time on their mobile devices. And I'm sure you've seen how a lot of young people carry about with the ethnic divide. You can almost predict that every other day there's a battle. Is it Igbo, Yoruba? Is it Hausa, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba? And you're wondering, there are bigger fish to fry. And this has separated us, divided us for too long.
Exactly.
So a lot of young people look up to you. And you said they listen to you, thankfully. So I imagine they're listening right now.
I'm sure.
What do you tell them by virtue of your experience? When all of this, I am Igbo, I am Yoruba, I am Hausa, you people are this, you people are that. When it comes up, how do you want young people to approach it?
I think it's systemic. Some set of people somewhere are trying so hard to keep us apart. Because if we come together, things will begin to work against them and better for us. And they don't want that. So they put it in your head all the time. You're Igbo. Igbo people like money. They do this, they do that. He's Yoruba. Oh, they are very cunning. They are sellouts. Oh, the Hausas. They're... Growing up on my street, we had friends who were Yorubas. My father's house was here. The opposite my house was a Hausa family. The next compound we had Rivers. Wow. And we all, yes, we didn't go out a lot. But because our parents knew each other, so if your child is going to be friends with anybody, you know their parents. You know what kind of family they're from. But where they're from was not, it was nothing. It didn't matter. So now that someone has to say, oh, you're Igbo, like someone once told me, I can't date an Igbo girl. I said, oh, too bad. You're lost. You're lost. Because there are good people everywhere and there are bad people everywhere. So every opportunity I get, most times I think about it. Right. Well, yeah, I think about the things I feel. I have a song titled, I don't even know what it's titled, Love One Another. It's a reggae song. And I speak my mind all the time. I have a song titled Peace. Peace in Nigeria, peace in Africa, peace. If you love me and I love you, if we love each other, the world will be a better place. So I don't know how to go around telling everyone, but I can think about it. It makes it easier. So when I'm saying love one another today, tomorrow might be too late to say I'm sorry, you would listen. If nothing else, okay, what did she sing? And then you're caught and then you listen to the lyrics. You must go home with something. So what I do is I think about it. When I thought about young girls and the way we objectify ourselves, this sexualize ourselves, it's sickening for me. There are women who, she's doing a great job, I watch you. So why can't the young girls, yes, why can't the young girls aspire to be like you, to be like Chimamanda, to be like, do you understand? Why does it always have to be about the frivolities before necessities? I thought about it. There are young girls out there doing well and nobody's commending them. I did a song recently titled Asa. Asa is a slang for a beautiful woman. But this, in this situation, this is a beautiful woman who has brains, she's intelligent, she's well-behaved, she has a job, she makes her own money, and then she's useful to her spouse in the other room.
Hallelujah.
So she's a complete woman. So when I'm singing to young girls, some of them will do videos and send to me. If you send me a video where you're half nude and you're singing, Asa, I'm not going to repost it. Because I wasn't talking about you. I'm talking about that young girl who has her head screwed onto, you know what I mean? Yes, that's how I can send this message. I can't go around telling them, oh, you don't have to do that. I mean, youthful exuberance sometimes plays a role. When I was younger, I was married already. There was one dress I wore, very scandalous. That was the first and the last I wore that, the kind of, yes, I was feeling very cool. I don't know.
God took exceptions.
No, not even him. The public, Jennifer, this is not you. What's it happen? Who sent you? Well, naturally, you show off a little bit of skin, but when it's now excessive, now me advise myself. Oh, yeah. And there was a day my daughter saw it. I have an 18-year-old now. Then she was about 10. She said, Mom, what were you thinking? I said, I'm asking myself. So I'm asking myself, how am I drawing women? So if you have to be a role model to young people, you can't do half measures. You go all the way. Doesn't mean you don't dress well. Doesn't mean you don't live a normal life. But there's got to be a boundary. There's got to be a line. You draw a line. You know when not to cross that line, because those watching you, looking up to you, think that everything you do is correct.
You know, so I couldn't agree more with you that music is a universal language.
Exactly.
But so is movie, because
yes, it is.
You know, it speaks a lot, strong language. So I want you to take us down memory lane. Yeah. You're certainly not a greenhorn in the movie industry. I used to watch you back then.
Way back.
Tell us about some of the most profound roles that you have played. Yesterday we were talking about you know, the curating of the work of Nollywood from way back in time. I wonder if you have, I'm sure you have strong views about that as well. So react to those two issues.
Our stories have evolved way back. It used to be, our stories used to tell and teach morals. So for every action, at the end of the day, there's a repercussion. But you see, how do I put this so that it's mild and still, you know, say what I want to say? Sometimes we overdo it. We over-exaggerate, if there's any word like that. We blow things out of proportion. And then we spend so much time objectifying the negatives, and then spend very little time showing what repercussion can come when you do this. I have a problem with that. You give them equal parts, because truthfully, karma knows our addresses. Sometimes it comes slow, but it comes. Then other times it happens almost immediately. You know, so I'm always for that. If you're going to tell the story and tell us how, don't beautify the negative so much, and then at the end of the day, towards the end, the person just, after probably killing 20 people, they just confess and die. I don't want it to happen like that. I want people to understand that for every action, there's a repercussion. So I would tell such stories. I like to write. I like to write for myself. I haven't written for anyone but for myself. I produced 5 of my own films. I just, not because it's a competition, no, I'm on a mission. If I have to change anything, if I have to get your attention, I want to tell my story from my angle and get a few people to see it and understand where I'm coming from.
So there are layers of questions, but
yes,
let's speak to what we're seeing on the screen.
Okay.
You interpret what's going on here.
Okay,
you are Mama G.
Remember, she's my mother-in-law in this film. I'm a medical doctor doing very well, have my own practice, and I'm married to her son, who is a graduate. I think he's lazy. He's not working. I provide. I do everything. So he stays at home and takes care of the home. And she hates me for that. Should I be blamed for that, really? If the boy really wanted to do something, he would get a job. But then all he does, he comes to say, I need 500,000, and I give him. I like the fact that in the film, I like the fact, that he stays at home and takes care of, he cooks, he cleans, he washes, and the mom is losing it. She thinks I have used juju on him, which actually is not the case. The boy is just lazy, but he also has plans. He has a not.
You don't want to give out too much.
I don't want to give out too much. This movie is a series. It's titled House Husband.
Right.
Beautiful one, yes.
So is it showing now?
It's showing, yes.
Okay,
I think we're on season 3 or 4.
Oh, beautiful.
It has up to, at the moment, it has up to like 7.
That's like turning African culture on his head.
You know what I mean? But I don't think it's my fault.
Are you sure? The jury's out there. Do you think it's her fault?
It's my fault? He doesn't want to do anything.
It's already there.
Yes.
As in the society, we can point to 1 or 2 situations where we have house husbands and the woman is the one catering to the families, the breadwinner, so to speak.
And she doesn't really lord it over him, you know. But the mother doesn't like the fact, I mean, any mother wouldn't like that. But it's not me, it's him. So the story must be told.
Yeah, what is she up to? What are you up to next? More music, more?
Yes, more. Oh, definitely. My first album is out there. It's titled Beautiful. It's on platforms. And I'm working on another album. Beautiful. But I'm going to do like 2, 3 singles, and then I do the full album.
Love one another today, tomorrow it might be.
Yes, tomorrow it might be.
Can you sing that part?
Love one another today. Tomorrow might be too late to say I'm sorry. Love one another today. Let there be love. Let there be love. Follow me, sing, say.
Love one another today.
Tomorrow might be too late to say I'm sorry. Love one another today.
I'm trying to get the lyrics.
Let there be love.
Wow.
Thank you.
Lady of songs and action. Thank you so much.
Amazing, amazing work. Thank you so much for coming on the program. Jennifer Liogo, actor, producer, apologies, singer, songwriter, and performing artist. Thank you so much for coming on the program. We appreciate you.
Much. Thank you for having me.
Anytime you're doing more projects, we're out here to support you.
Thank you. That's good to know.
All right. So when we come back after this break, we'll bring you, we're going to switch gears there to Abidjan, where we'll talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Join us again.
In a matter of hours, Nigeria Super Eagles will be squaring it out against Angola in Cote d'Ivoire. I know all of us are looking forward to that match. A lot of people are trying to focus at work and all, but you know your mind is on that match. So let's take you over to Cote d'Ivoire and get a sense of how the Super Eagles are preparing for that all-important quarter-final match. And we're joined by none other than the media officer of our very own Super Eagles, Babafemi Raji. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the morning brief.
All right, good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's great to see you. I must tell you, we're great. We're anticipating that match. You know, there's a lot of anxiety, but excitement nonetheless. But give us a sense of what's happening in the camp of our Super Eagles. Our guys have been doing great things, but tell us, what is the camp like today?
Yeah, amazing. In about 2 hours, it's 7:45 or 43 here at the moment. We're 1 hour behind.
Yeah.
In about 1 hour and 15 minutes, we'll be getting set for breakfast. And afterwards, we'll have a team briefing as well. And then lunch and then a team meeting before we start heading to the stadium from 3:15 a.m. The stadium is just around 800 meters away from us. And it's the Felix Ofe-Boeing Stadium. And we'll be taking on Angola there. So the mood is good, it's great. The players are in good spirits, mentally ready for this game. We just want to do the needful, win for Nigeria.
Absolutely. I mean, we can use not 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins, and eventually the cup. But we always say no pressure, but I imagine how it must feel having over 100 million Nigerians. I'm not counting the children or the babies because they are not part of people shouting, but over 100 million Nigerians watching you, expecting that you don't make any mistake. Yes, you can concede, but you have to win that match. So speak to us, because the psychology of the team is very, very important. How are you taking in all of that pressure, particularly for the coach who... not a lot of people loved him at first, but we have now come to love Coach Pesero because of the result. And so speak to us about the psychology of the team, especially with the pressure which you may be feeling?
I remember yesterday we had a little team meeting. The meeting took a different dimension. It was more emotional, where we had greetings from parents, family members of the players, the officials, wishing the team well. If there is any support anyone needs when you are saddled with such responsibilities as to do from the home front, and when your family members, you see them. We've been away in camp. We've been away. It's a month already. Today is second. It's been a month. I remember we're in Abu Dhabi before we came here to Abidjan for this tournament. So the emotions are already there. So the pressure, fine, but we know we have a family behind us. We know families behind us. We know we have millions of Nigerians rooting for us. Everyone is screaming, let's do it again. We also realize as Nigerians, we deserve to give ourselves a gift at the start of the year, this 2024. We know a lot has been going on, but it's time to even have something to celebrate, unite us, and make us speak with one voice. Trust me, since this tournament started, Nigerians have been speaking with one voice, and there's something positive to look out for in 2024, and that is Nigeria winning the cup. So we know the pressure is there, but we are doing everything we can as well to ensure that we match up, we meet up to expectations and even surpass it. February 11 is our target. The AFCON trophy is our target. We want to win it.
Mr. Raji, trust me, Nigerians have not always been kind, particularly during that match that we were only able to win by an own goal. Speaking of which, you know, the banter sometimes can be harsh, and according to reports from inside sources in Abidjan as well, even if the keepers were shielded, the players rather were shielded from some of those banters on social media. They say some of their family members get to send it to them. How is it managed inside the camp such that it doesn't affect their morale?
The good thing is we have players that are mentally tough. We've got a team psychologist as well. We talk to one another. We encourage one another. We understand. See, when you're in the spotlight, you will get. We don't see the backlash or the negative comments as things to put us down. The players, the officials, the entire team, we see it as messages to spur us to do better things. When a child doesn't do well in school and the parents say and we give them a reprimand, it's for the child to get better. So in as much as you try to give us a backlash, also advise us on how to get better. So, and we take, we don't lose here in the team. We keep saying we win or we learn. So for every mistake we make, we learn immediately from it and then we move on. The unity amongst us is what keeps us. When one player feels down or an official feels down, we try to encourage that person. Nobody keeps his head low here. Our heads are always up. As you can see, my neck is here. I'm staring at you. So we always ensure our heads up and encourage one another. No matter the comments, we want to change the narrative through our results, and that is winning matches.
All right, let's talk about Nwabali. What's the status? Because I'm sure a lot of Nigerians, he's been training for like 2 days now. Will he be fit for today's match? What's the status of his health? Just a confirmation from you.
Yeah, he trained yesterday. He trained the day before, but yesterday was more intense. So it simply means he's available for selection today. So for him to have trained yesterday rigorously with the rest of the team is very much available for selection. In terms of who gets to start, it's the coach's decision to make. But he is very much available for selection for today's matches. For today's match, excuse me.
Well, I think our meeting with Angola dates back to, I think, 1980, an international friendly before we went to the African Cup of Nations, I think 81 or so. So in terms of matches, we've done a bit of a head-to-head, almost 3 wins, 2 draws. No, I think about 5 draws and 2 losses. So it may not really be a walk in the park. Tactically, what is Posero, putting forward to ensure that we're as compact as possible? Because we see that in setting of the matches, attack may not be as clinical as it should be, but sometimes we'll get it right. So tactically, what are we looking at?
The moment I give you that, then it means I'm beginning to check your name.
No, I'm not saying expose. I'm not saying expose our formation. No. Right, not at all. I'm just saying, however I can walk around it without exposing our. Of course, I wouldn't want us to know, anybody to know our details.
Exactly, but trust me, I know the coach will come up with what will suit the game, what we need make the players feel comfortable as well, and then give us the results. Most times it's about what happens. The result, final result is what counts. You can play bad and then win. You can play beautiful, awesome, amazing football, and then the results doesn't go in your favor. All we want today is for the results to go in our favor, no matter the tactics deployed. We just need that win, and that's what we are working towards today.
I know that from time to time you get to speak with the players and also the coach. A lot of people have spoken about Coach Pesero. In fact, during one of the games, people were like, wait a minute. This is one of the very few times we've seen someone quite fluid with formation, as though you're playing, game on PlayStation or what have you. So the formation was changing in match as the people were observing. I'm sure you've spoken to him from time to time about how he's also handling all of that, sometimes vitriol, sometimes kudos, sometimes knocks and the rest. And I wonder what he says to you about that. That's on the one hand. So let me let you respond to that before I move on. So that this comment will determine the next question.
So most times he talks about how he likes to play. He likes to play attacking football. He likes to keep possession of the ball. He likes to knock the ball around. Beautiful football, attacking football. But again, he stated something in a press conference, and he said, well, in match day situations, game situations, there are times you have to just gain control and think more of how to conserve energy and make the players really comfortable and ensure you don't concede, which is very key. Conceding first, most times could distort the rhythm of a team. And that's why he's deployed strategies that could contain, that could also help retain possession and be fluid in attack. I'm sure you've seen our games. In terms of chances created by any team, we've created more chances. I'm not talking about the goals converted, but in terms of chances, dangerous attacks, no team matches the record of Super Eagles in this tournament. The goals will come, and will come in torrents very soon. But for Coach Pesero, all he wants, he enjoys beautiful football, attacking football, and also making sure players are comfortable with whatever roles they are given.
I bet a lot of people will be quoting you. Papa Femiraj says the goals will come. They will come in torrents. We have to take note of that. And of course, that's what we love to see, because we have one of the best squads. And yes, not to let this get into our heads. Every team we play against, I mean, there are 11 as well. So it's 11 against 11. But we have a very strong team. Our players are fantastic. And I don't want to name names so I don't get in trouble. But the next question I was going to ask you, so how can we help as Nigerians? I think I've not seen a lot of people promising $1,000 or $1 million per goal. You know, we used to have that in the past. People will promise. Is that something that has happened? What do you need from Nigerians?
Yeah, just support. Yesterday, dinner, we had calls from the Executive Governor of Lagos State. We had calls from Alhaji Aliko Dangote, from Tony Elumelu. We had the FIFA Council member, Majuma Wimpinik, with us in camp. Yesterday, the NFF president was there. We had the governor of Bayelsa State, the governor of Kwara State was with us. The permanent secretary of the sports ministry was also here with us. We had a letter read out and handed over to the captain by the Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Owen Eno. So Austin J.J. Okocha has also been here in terms of support. Chief Shegun Odegbami has also been here. So all we just need basically is the support from Nigerians. We have this mantra coming to this. Our campaign slogan is "Let's do it again." We've been doing everything to match this campaign slogan because we've done it before, and Nigerians, we deserve to win it again. So what we need from you, the media has been wonderful with us. I remember we had an open access here. We had over 105 journalists in our camp, which was massive. We've been the most media-friendly team in the tournament. The support has been massive. And for Nigerians out there, we just need the support. One spirit, one voice, support us all through, even with your prayers. Yeah. Whatever religion you practice, traditional African religion, Christianity, Islam, anything you do, just speak in one voice to ensure we win, and we win well.
It would be remiss of us not to talk about Angola, Mr. Raji, particularly because of the team, which has been seen to be very good in their past matches, defeating Namibia, I think, 2-0. What's the outlook of the Super Eagles towards this match with Angola?
That should be kept with us so that we unleash it on the field of play.
I like the confidence. So what is your prediction now? 2-0. I think I saw somebody on X saying no tension and Super Eagles will win by 3-0 today. Well, that's a prediction by Angel Tunde. What's yours? What are you guys discussing? Do you guys sit down and say, let's give them 3, let's give them 4?
We want to win. If 0.001 goal will count, then let that give us that victory. We just want to win. It's just the win we need. It's the full-time result we need, and that is a win. However it comes, and whatever the goal margin, when it 20-0, 1-0, 0.50, let us.
Absolutely. We had better win, so we can continue that banter with Ghana and Cameroon.
I mean, non-committal, Mr. Raji. You don't want to make a prediction. You don't want to be precise.
Okay, I think that's what you can take. If Bukola wants you to make a prediction.
Yes, I want him to make a prediction.
1-0, 2-0.
No, it's even if it's 0.0.
My prediction is a win. We will win.
A win. Okay.
We'll take that.
We'll take that. I guess we'll be having you in the coming days to celebrate this win and subsequent wins up until we win the cup. And we hope we can even get the cup right here to celebrate.
We're rooting for you guys.
Absolutely.
That would be something.
We're rooting for you guys.
The trophy right here.
But I'd like to thank you so much, Babafemi Raji. Thank you for your time. We wish you the very best. I know it's going to be a very busy day for you, but we wish you and the team the very best. And you should always be ready for us anytime so we can, of course, send this message.
Be ready for us on Monday. Let's give you an advance invitation. Be ready for us because we hope we will win. Maybe you say an amen. I don't know what you practice.
By God's grace, we will win.
Amen.
All right, there you go. Babafemi Raji is a media officer. Super Eagles. We're counting down to that all-important match against Angola. Thank you so much for your time on the show.
Thank you.
That's the show for today. Yes, we're going to have the Talking Drum Maestro join us on the show, but not to worry. We have prepped that for the coming days, so stick with us right here. We'll still have the Talking Drum Maestro, Ara. And in fact, we'll bring our talking drums, guys, so we can learn one or two things.
Some talking drum language.
Right.
Because he speaks.
That's why it's called talking
drum. Talking drum, yeah.
We'll get to interpret all of that.
Yeah. Bukola.
So, I guess that sums it up.
We could stay, actually. Just relax. It's a weekend.
Sunrise is standing by the way.
Yes, they are. So stick around for Sunrise Daily. They are up next. Thank you so much for being a part of the show throughout this entire week. We will be back again next week with many more bumper packages. I am Bukola Koka.
And I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Have yourself a beautiful and lovely weekend.
I'm Kayode Kikulu. Goodbye.